This was absolutely a horrific crime of passion. This person, you always say the word evil, but this is demonic. This individual what he did was demonic.
The convenience of the ride-sharing business. With just a few clicks, one of many drivers in your area, if not on your exact street, can give you a lift to where you need to go. Whether you are home or at work, they can even bring you disgusting fast food of your choice. As a driver, after gasoline expenses, you'd earn a terribly low amount of money, while your vehicle's value rapidly decreases. As a former rideshare driver, I definitely wouldn't recommend it.
Cassie Jr. says 55-year-old Michelle Stillwell was asleep most of the ride until a few blocks from her home in unincorporated St. Pete.
But just a sec. Have you taken a photo of me?
Yeah, because you won't give me my food.
Delete it.
You won't give me my food. Just
I'll call the police for you.
Okay, that's fine.
You have no right.
Because you won't. I paid for the food and you won't even give it to me. I'm the one who should call the police because you're stealing my food.
Who do you think you are? Yeah, you know the guy. Get out of here. No. Get out of here. Just touch me again. See what happens.
God, man.
Get up. I'm not in your face. You put your hands on me. You know what that is? That's assault, bro.
It's my food now, bitch.
Andy up and slams into the ride.
But bills are bills and somebody has to pay it. Although in most cases, customers are harmless. You, the driver and/or the passenger, like any job involving direct customer interaction, may be at risk of danger. On April 19, 2023, at around 6:30 p.m., an Uber Eats driver was on the phone with his wife, Kathy, letting her know that he had one last trip before he comes home. As the night grew, Kathy began to worry. Her husband never came home. When she would call both of his phones, it would go straight to voicemail, which only made her increasingly worried. His family decided to call authorities to report a missing person. Deputies began searching and investigating. The sheriff's office's missing persons unit made contact with Uber to learn of his last known GPS coordinates. They've obtained information that would lead them to a house on Moog Road in Holiday, Florida, a suburb northwest of Tampa. Authorities paid a visit to the last known house he was pinpointed in, and nothing seemed suspicious. Even though there wasn't anything considerably alarming, police paid another visit at the same house a day later. This time, they were able to communicate with someone. Here's the backstory. A roommate was working his second job the evening of the Uber Eats driver's disappearance and took his wife and their daughter with him. When they returned home at around midnight, they had trouble entering the home. The front door was bolted shut from inside. He used the key to open a side garage door. Once they got in and settled down, the small family tried watching television, but the internet was disabled. So he reset the router in the living room and noticed a red substance on the floor. In the dim area of the home, the roommate had not noticed blood splatter near the kitchen table and the entertainment center. At 2:15 a.m., they were awoken by a very loud noise coming from the other bedroom. So out of fear, they decided to pack their stuff to stay at a hotel. Leaving the house at about 8 a.m., on their way out, they saw their roommate's driver. The other roommate didn't own a vehicle, so his father hired someone to take him to work, the Omnia Blue Strip Club, where he worked as security, the roommate told investigators with the Pasco County Sheriff's Office. The roommate provided video footage from a surveillance camera outside the house. It showed a man approach the front door and stood around waiting for someone to answer. Several seconds later, the video cuts. The following video footage continues the next day, showing two men carrying what seemed to be garbage bags out of the house. One man was identified as the other roommate. Detectives then located the bags and started rummaging through and discovered a truly gut-churning sight. The bag was filled with dismembered human remains. Inside the bags, investigators found blood-soaked clothes, one shirt with many puncture holes near the collar, lower left side, and rib area, and a cooler containing some human remains. It is believed the victim suffered from 35 stab wounds before being dismembered. The victim's family members identified him on social media. He was 59-year-old Randall Cook, a father, a stepdad, a husband. Through their investigation, detectives found car keys, a wallet, and a wedding ring. Seemed like people really loved and adored him.
Brittany DeZoba is broken. She says her family is shattered after losing her stepfather, Randall Cook, in what sheriffs are calling a gruesome murder.
I just don't know what to do now. We're all don't know what to do. It's not like an everyday death that you hear on the news or see.
DeZoba tells us the 59-year-old moved out to Pasco County with his wife to enjoy retirement. He had picked up a job as an Uber Eats driver to help support their dreams of life on the beach.
Randall's wife learned that his body parts were found in trash bags from the news before police had a chance to inform her. A Facebook post with a message from Ginger, the mother of Randall's biological son and daughters, reads, "I'm asking that our children, Sierra, Sterling, and Sage, are in your prayers for the tragic loss of their father. All the coverage and interviews of this case have not included them at all. It's as if they didn't even exist in his life. This is unsettling and upsetting. My daughter Sage lost her sister, my daughter Sierra, who was her best friend, 5 years ago. I'm most worried for her. She is graduating high school in a month, and I can't even imagine what that would feel like because her dad cannot attend. He will be there in spirit. Sterling, the son, is in great pain, but he is the strongest person I know. I'm grateful that he has friends surrounding him at this time." Oscar Solis is an affiliated member of the infamous gang MS-13 with a very violent criminal past. He was one of the men who was seen on footage carrying the trash bags.
Solis was arrested. Police say he was originally booked for a probation violation, but is now facing a homicide charge. A judge ordered him to be held without bond. Now, we checked Solis' background. He has an extensive criminal record and was recently paroled from prison in Indiana. We're expected to learn more about the case from the Pasco County Sheriff, Chris Nacco, tomorrow.
He was arrested and charged with murder, kidnapping, and other felonies. After Oscar's arrest, police observed small cuts and abrasions on his hands and a scratch on his left bicep. The death penalty. This is exactly what prosecutors are pushing for. Now, according to the affidavit, Oscar's driver mentioned an odor inside the house, and he was asked by Oscar to help take out the trash. So as far as I know, Oscar's driver isn't held criminally reliable. Randall's car was found about a third of a mile down the road. Police said it had a time card receipt in it with Oscar's name, and the car seemed to be sprayed with some type of chemical to hide evidence.
A couple of things real quick. Talk about Oscar Solis. This guy's he's affiliated with MS-13 from Indiana. Like I said, he just came down here from Indiana like a month or two ago, 2 months or 3 months ago in January. His charges before, he had been battery, burglary, possession of stolen auto parts, drugs, resisting law enforcement, other burglary charges, home detention placement, burglary, battery on detention staff. He supposedly stabbed somebody several times while he was in prison in Indiana. So you're talking about a very violent individual that Indiana released and sent down to Florida. He came down to Florida. They released him on parole. And so, unfortunately, now we have a hardworking guy, a loving husband, who's no longer with us because this violent individual killed him.
You may be asking yourself, how is someone with an extensive violent rap sheet able to walk free? I mean, shouldn't he be locked up? Why is he free? Well, yeah, that is some pretty good questions. I agree. You'd be surprised how many people are roaming around your neighborhood or your local supermarket, bumping elbows with you that may have a few screws loose. Oscar is being held without bond. This is an ongoing case, so I will feed you updates as more information is obtained. Now, I covered a story with a similar background. As I mentioned previously, certain situations are out of your control, but there are a few things you can do that may possibly give you a fighting chance to survive. While you are dropping off an order, it is best to be on the phone with someone. If a place looks sketchy or your gut tells you something isn't right, then leave. Try your best to stay calm if you are ever approached by a person with a weapon. Do not enter a vehicle or a house, even if you are coerced to. If you enter, your chances of survival are slim to none. Please, be safe.